The other day, I read a comment on a video that I'd been watching, and this lady had just started her own YouTube channel, and she was having problems with getting it going. I want to read to you what she said. She said, "The only thing that discourages me is I've had facial paralysis, and I always feel that I'm not good enough and beautiful enough to show my non-symmetrical face on video." Now, when I read that comment, it just broke my heart. And I knew I was going to have to make this video, but I want to read you what I replied to her. I said, "If you can break through that barrier, you might find it to be your unfair advantage. How many imperfect people are waiting for your encouragement? Go for it. God has a purpose for you." And after leaving that reply to her comment, I thought, how many people are out there that are finding limitations and imperfections and reasons why they can't accomplish something that they have on their heart? So this is what I want to deal with today. Your unfair advantage is what you have in your life, something about you. It could be your background, your training, your situation, your location, your personality, anything that sets you apart from other people. It's your story, it's your experience. Nobody else has that. Nobody else is just like you. And when you can find that unfair advantage that you have in your life, that can just give you what you need to be able to accomplish what's in your heart for your life. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to change that perspective around. Instead of seeing these challenges as keeping you from accomplishing what you want, they will actually give you what you need to be able to do it even better than you thought. So first of all, I want you to think about something that you've had on your heart, a goal, a vision, or a calling that might be on your life that just hasn't taken place. And if you need to pause this video for a moment so you can think of what that is, go ahead and pause and then come back. So thinking about what that is, that one thing in your life, now think of the limitations that you have felt are there that are keeping you from accomplishing that. Now, I do believe that if we've got something on our heart that we know is our calling and what we need to accomplish, it might be to leave a legacy. It might be to be able to express what our life means in this world. And if there is a calling that is that strong on your life, I do believe that God gives us everything that we need to be able to accomplish it. You are enough, and you have what you need to be able to get through those challenges that are facing you. First, I want to tell a story. One time there was a farmer that had an old donkey that was lame and really wasn't much good for anything. And the farmer loved that old donkey and just didn't want to put her to sleep, which would have been the humane thing to do. But instead, he kept that old donkey. And one day, the donkey fell into a deep hole. Now, the farmer had no way to get her out of that hole. So he thought, well, she's so old anyway, maybe I should just bury her alive and put her out of her misery. So he grabbed a shovel and he started putting dirt into that hole on that poor donkey. And he was so sad because he loved that old donkey and he didn't want to have to do that. And so he wasn't really paying attention to the donkey in the hole, just putting the dirt in. But he didn't see what was happening inside that hole, that every time a pile of dirt landed on that donkey's back, the donkey shook it off and stepped up on it and kept doing that over and over as the dirt went into the hole. And before long, the farmer glanced over at the hole and he saw the donkey's head above ground. So he quickly kept throwing the dirt in there until the donkey stepped out of the hole. Now, what does that have to do with your situation? Basically, what was trying to bury that donkey, the donkey shook off and stepped up on it. And I want to show you how you can take those limitations, you can take those things which have been against you, and you can shake them off and actually step up on them, take the next step, and see that vision come to pass. Now, there are different kinds of limitations that we come up with in life. And I'm going to share 5 of those limitations with you. And the last one I'm going to share, I think it's the most common. It's often the strongest one, but it can be the easiest one to overcome. So let's take a look at those. The first limitation might be your age. Maybe you're thinking, I'm too old to do that. I don't have time enough left in my life, and it's just, if it hasn't happened by now, it's never going to happen. And if you're thinking that it's too late, you're too old to try something new, you're too old to prepare yourself for whatever it is that's on your heart, then I want you to think of it this way, and this is what'll get you through it. Picture yourself at the very end of your life if you didn't accomplish that. Are you going to have regrets? Probably. And if you can just imagine what it's like to be too late to do it, it's the end of your life, you didn't accomplish it, leaving that legacy, accomplishing that vision. What would you be thinking if only I had? Take those if onlys that you would think and come back to the moment you're in right now and think, what would I have thought that I would have needed to do? And if you can take those if onlys from the future and put them into practice now and avoid those regrets. Sometimes all it takes is just avoiding a regret to motivate us, to get us into action and know that it is not too late to get going on what is in my heart. So that's actually something that you can step up on. Avoid that regret. Pick it up and get moving with it. The second limitation I want to talk about is money, or that could be just resources, what you need to have to be able to do what is on your heart. Now, one advantage actually that you might have from not having enough to do it is not so much what you need to have, but it's the way you get it. When you need to learn and discipline yourself to be able to bring in money or resources or whatever it is that you need to be able to accomplish that vision, then you'll find that the work and the learning that you have to do to bring that in will make you much stronger. Think of it this way: a person that's always had enough to be able to do things is not going to have the same attitude about what they have and the same discipline to be able to not only have it, but to increase it. So those skills that you are going to learn, whether it's that you need to just get out of debt or just be able to generate more resource, those skills are going to strengthen you to the point of, even when you have accomplished your vision, this time you have skills that are going to take you along to the next one. The third limitation that you might be facing could be a lack of education, a lack of ability. Just say, I don't have the training to be able to do that. I can't do this vision. I can't carry out this goal for my life because I really don't know how. And you come up against a barrier every time you try, that you don't have the knowledge or the ability to be able to do it. Now, I do believe in getting a formal education. Some kind of schooling, college, or training can be so useful. But if you're at a point of life to where you're not going to go back to school, you don't have classes you can take to learn something to empower you to be able to accomplish that goal, find somebody who's been doing it, who has done it, and connect yourself with somebody, or connect yourself with a group of people who are moving in that thing that you want to do. Rather than a formal education, a formal training, or taking classes for something, although that's important, what you need is the wisdom of a mentor, hands-on experience, and somebody who will walk with you through this experience and equip you to be able to do it. Sometimes that's direct. Sometimes that comes from reading, from learning about people who have been there. And most of those people, even if they've had formal training, have had to overcome challenges that may not have been addressed in that training. So connect yourself with people who have had success in that area, people who have a similar idea and a similar goal for their life. And that is going to give you a much stronger basis to be able to step out and accomplish that goal for your life. The fourth limitation that I want to address is not having enough time. Sometimes we've got the ability that we need to do something, we are highly motivated, but it just doesn't seem to fit into our schedule. So what you can do about that is, don't see the whole goal, but take it and break it up into parts. And when you do that, take a look at your life. And if you really don't have much time, truth is, we all have the same amount of time, but I understand you might have a job, you might have demands with your family, you might have other things that you're involved with that are important, and you can't find enough time around the edges to be able to accomplish what you really want to do with your life. What you can do is really examine your time. It's amazing. All of us have these bits and pieces of time that are slipping through the cracks. It's like when you have a water leak. If you collect all the drips from something that's leaking water, it's amazing how much is there in a short time. And it's the same thing with your time. If you've got leaks in your time, really take a look at what you're doing. Are there things in your life that you're doing that somebody else could do? Things that are wasting your time? It could be just watching too much TV. Whatever it is, really see when you can fit something in. And then when you do, take these pieces that you have of your goal, not the whole thing altogether. That can be the overwhelming thing. You think, well, I don't have a large amount of time to be able to finish this, but you don't need to finish. All you need to do is get started. And when you do that, the other parts of your life will arrange themselves to fit in, because if this is on your heart to do, whatever that goal, whatever that vision is, then you will find a way to do it, and the pieces of your life will fall into place. Now, the last limitation, the fifth one that I want to bring up, I do believe can be the strongest and most common limitation that we have, and that is simply our self-image. How do we see ourselves? Do you see yourself as the type of person that would accomplish that thing that you have on your heart? Or do you find yourself thinking that, well, somebody else might be able to do that, but me? How can I do that? And you don't visualize yourself overcoming those obstacles and actually doing it. Perhaps it has to do with your personality and how you see yourself. If you see yourself as being timid, or if you see yourself as just being so introverted that you can't accomplish things. Because I know I used to deal with that all the time, that my image of myself was pretty much that I try things and they always fail. My ideas are always bad. And if you've got similar ideas about yourself, or even something else that's just keeping you from being able to see yourself as the person that does accomplish whatever that vision is that you're dealing with right now, then take a good hard look at yourself and realize that you have done many things that you've had a hard time with. And when you work your way through that, you'll see that those small victories are adding up, and they have turned you into the person that, yes, you can accomplish this. I do believe that if something is so much on your heart to do, it's because there's a calling there. If it's that strong in you that you need to accomplish it, then I do believe that when God calls somebody to do something, He gives the resources needed to do it. So our past experience will help to give us what we need to be able to accomplish what we need to do today. So I just want to encourage you, the same way that that donkey learned to take those limits and shake them off her back and then step up on them, you can do the same thing, no matter what those limitations are. And if you want to take the next step, I've got a video that you need to watch about facing and conquering your fears. So take a look at this video up here, and I'll see you there.